In the name of Allah, the Rahman, the Rahim, dear students and viewers, welcome you all in today's lecture. In today's lecture, we are trying to learn about Jean Piaget's cognitive development theory. It's one of the theories in psycholinguistics we are studying. This theory is about the cognition, the mental and thought processes responsible for learning, for knowledge and intelligence. Like cognition, we are studying mainly in this theory. Cognition is the process by which knowledge and understanding comes or develops in mind. And intelligence, we are studying in this theory. Intelligence is the ability to learn, understand, and think in a logical way about things. Firstly, about the author, Jean Piaget. Jean Piaget was born in 1896. He was a Swiss psychologist. He is considered one of the most influential researchers in the developmental psychology in 20th century. Piaget originally trained in the areas of biology and philosophy. He called himself as a genetic epistemologist. It implies that biological influences on how we come to know. Yes, what are the biological influences on us? That is, how we come to know, how we are knowing, or how we are getting knowledge, understanding, and learning. He believed that what distinguishes human beings from other animals is our ability to do abstract symbolic reasoning. Yes, this is the capability of human beings that they can think or they can learn symbolically by reasoning, or they can discuss. They can think about abstract symbols or in logical way. Okay, Piaget views are often compared with another psychologist, Lev Vygotsky, a Russian psychologist, who talk about social interaction. He having the opinion that learning comes through interaction, through social interaction. Okay, let's study Jean Piaget views and Lev Vygotsky. Piaget felt that mental development is largely fueled from within. Thought processes and mental or cognitive processes are responsible for learning, for knowledge getting. While, on the other hand, Vygotsky believed that external factors such as culture and people such as parents, caregivers, and peers play more significant role in knowledge getting. Yes, we know our children, our learners, they know they are getting knowledge from the external factors, from culture through social interaction. Much of Piaget's interest in the cognitive development of children was inspired by his observations of his own nephew and daughters. Yes, he conducted data from his three kids, especially from his nephew and daughter. These observations reinforced his budding hypothesis, his initial hypothesis, that children's minds were not merely smaller version of the adult minds. Yes, there is no significant difference between the children minds and the adult minds. The versions are same, but simply there is difference in thinking. Yes, children think differently from those of the adults. Qualitative differences are there, not quantitative. He felt that Jean Piaget views regarding the mental and cognitive development. Piaget proposed that intelligence comes or grows and develops through series of stages. Like children, they are passing through series of stages to develop or to like learn things or to gain new knowledge. He is saying that older children do not just think more quickly than the younger children. Instead, there are both qualitative and quantitative differences between the thinking of younger children and the older children. Like they think differently, qualitative and quantitative differences are there between the thinking of younger children and the older children. Based on his observations, he concluded that children were not less intelligent than adults. They simply think differently, like qualitative differences are there between the thinking of adults and children. Regarding his theory of cognitive development, Albert Einstein called Piaget's discovery that it's so simple, only a genius could have thought of it. Yes, like he praised his theory of cognitive development. Now, there is a distinction between early cognition processes and later progresses. Like Piaget classified cognitive processes, early cognitive processes, and later cognitive progresses. Piaget's stage theory describes the cognitive development of children, like the child world of learning, okay? This theory, cognitive development theory, is mostly about the child's world of cognition, the child world of learning. Cognitive development involves changes in cognitive process and abilities. In Piaget's view, early cognitive development involves processes based on actions and later progresses to change in mental operations. Simply, it means that early cognitive processes means that like children, they are learning in early stages, they are learning through physical actions, like through listening, through sucking, through crawling, they are learning. In later stages, they are learning, like they are learning more psychologically or logically, or they are thinking more logically, and they are having reasonings. And they think about abstract things and hypothetical concepts they can discuss. So the only difference is the like age, we can say early age and the later age. Piaget's theory of cognitive development helped aid to our understanding of children's intellectual growth. Yes, basically, he is of the opinion that how children learns, how their like intellectual growth comes, how they are like getting more intelligence or this power of intelligence. So he helped a lot to understand children intellectual power, yes, how they are getting knowledge. It is also stressed that children were not merely like passive recipients of knowledge. Yes, children are not merely like they are not just receiving knowledge in passive way, but when they are taking active part in participations, they can learn more and they can like improve their intellectual power in their reasonings. Instead, kids are constantly investigating and experimenting as they build their understanding of how the world works. Yes, Piaget says that like children, they are getting the world view. They are like building the world image. Mental image is prepared in their mind. Now, Jean Piaget, a Swiss psychologist, was particularly concerned with the way thinking develops in children from birth till they become young adults. Like how these processes are going on, how these like processes are taking place from birth till the adults, till the adulthood. Yes. like till maturity, how they are learning, how their thinking develops. To understand the nature of this development, Piaget carefully observed the behavior of his own three kids, his nephew and daughters. He used to present problems to them, observe their responses slightly after the situation, and again observe their responses. Like he has given problems to their children, to their kids, and he observed them keenly how they are behaving or how they are replying to that very situation. Okay, he observed, he made observation over them. Piaget called this method of exploring development clinical interview. Yes, like he has given problems for solving to their children, to his children, and he observed them, and he called this way, this process, that clinical interview. He conducted clinical interview. Piaget believed that humans also adapt to their physical and social environment in which they live. Yes, it means that he was he was also of the opinion that we can learn from social interaction. We can learn from society in which we live. The process of adaptation begins since birth. Piaget saw this adaptation in terms of two basic processes: assimilation and accommodation. Assimilation means adding new knowledge to the already established knowledge, okay? And accommodation means adaptation. Accommodation means that when already established knowledge is not working in some situation, so that already established knowledge is replaced with another knowledge with the addition of new knowledge. So this is called accommodation, okay? Accommodation means adaptation. Now, cognitive development theory basically is about cognitive development. It's not just about acquiring knowledge, but how the children has to develop or construct a mental model of the world. It not just discusses cognitive development, cognitive development of the children, how they are acquiring knowledge, but also it discusses that how they construct a mental image of the world, how they are getting or making mental image of the world. Cognitive development theory suggests that children move through four different stages of learning. It does not only focuses on understanding of how children acquire knowledge, but also on understanding the nature of intelligence. Yes, like both things are going on in the cognitive development theory or in the cognition development, that how children are acquiring knowledge and how they are understanding the nature of the intelligence developed. Piaget believed that children take an active role in the learning process, acting much like little scientists as they perform experiments, make observations, and learn about the world. Yes, through these components, they are learning, making performing experiments, conducting experiments, make observations, and learn about the world. Four stages of cognitive development are there. The first stage is sensorimotor stage. It starts from birth goes to 2 years. Then comes pre-operational stage, ages to 2 years till 7 years. Concrete operational stage from 7 years to 11 years. Formal operational stage from 11 years or from 12 years till adulthood. Now, in these four stages, how cognitive development occurs, like in sensorimotor stage, object permanence comes. Pre-operational stage, symbolic thought comes. Concrete operational stage, logical thoughts comes. Formal operational, the last stage, which is regarding the adulthood, scientific reasoning comes, okay? So, development is coming or taking place. Firstly, object permanence, symbolic thought, logical thought, and then comes scientific reasoning. We will discuss in our next class these all components in detail. Thanks for watching.